at 7 a.m. We're about an hour outside of Dublin right now. The dawn is just breaking. So we're going to be going from Dublin down to County Kerry, which is all the way kind of down in the southwest corner of the island of Ireland. The plan is to drive this morning all the way down to the edge of the Iveragh Peninsula, which is where the Ring of Kerry circles. So there's a couple different peninsulas. The other popular one is the Dingle Peninsula, but there's also a few other peninsulas nearby in West Cork as well. They're all really stunning. I'm a little nervous. I find being alone a little bit stressful, but this is my first road trip without another human. This is a good challenge to get me out of my comfort zone, but I also have this one to keep me company. It's kind of like a soft launch of a solo road trip. We are going to be going to a couple beaches. We're going to go to an International Dark Sky Park. We'll head to the Cliffs of Kerry. We're going to do a hike in Killarney National Park, 1 night in Waterville and 2 nights in Killarney. That's what we're doing, and it's going to be great. Chicken's doing great in the car. Don't worry, she has her little seatbelt on. We can't wait to take you on all the adventures with us, so come on. A road trip from Dublin to Kerry takes around 4 hours, but it's the drive out to the far reaches of the peninsulas that can add real time onto the journey. For the purposes of this trip, we traveled about 3/4 of the way around the Ring of Kerry in a clockwise direction and then eventually backtracked the way we came towards Killarney. You can drive the entire ring in a day in about 3 hours, not accounting for stops at the dozens of historic sites, attractions, and viewpoints along the way. And while driving gives the traveler more freedom, a trip to Kerry can also be done totally car-free, utilizing bus, train, and tour services. These country roads are narrow and no joke. The dog was really my one and only reason for driving myself, but hopefully one day Irish Rail will sort out its dog policies. It's not a road trip without a sausage roll. Anyways, as you approach the southwestern region of Ireland, the landscape transforms before your eyes from rolling green pastures to rugged, mountainous terrain. After a long morning on the road, we finally reached our first destination, Brackaharagh Beach. This beach can be very crowded in the summer, especially on weekends, but as we were here early in the spring season, we nearly had it to ourselves. The crystal clear waters made it immediately obvious why Kerry is sometimes called Ireland's Hawaii. Later in this video, we'll talk about the Kerry National Park, which is Ireland's newest national park and only marine national park. With the sun still shining bright overhead, we decided to take our chances and head for the Kerry Cliffs. I've been to the cliffs before, but on an overcast day. Because the weather changes so drastically here in Ireland, we weren't sure what conditions would meet us, but we lucked out with fairly clear skies. Plus, at least the cliffs are dog-friendly, if not drone-friendly. What I really love about these sea cliffs is that there's so much space to move around. From the cliffs, you'll have stunning views of Skellig Michael, a filming location for 2 Star Wars films, The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. For a bite to eat, the nearby harbour village of Portmagee has a few lovely pubs. If you have time, pop over to Valencia Island, where you'll have a better chance of spotting marine wildlife like puffins and whales depending on the season. Some other great spots along this section of the Ring of Kerry include St. Finian's Bay and the Skellig Chocolate Factory. By now, Chicken and I had been solely sustained on car snacks. Exhausted, we headed back to check into our accommodation in Waterville. We stayed at the Old Cable House, which during the summer high season is also open as a full-service restaurant. But since we were here before the start of the season, we headed into the village for some refreshments at the Lobster, a charming dog-friendly spot. We then walked the length of the waterfront promenade as darkness fell, hoping for a break in the clouds. Unfortunately, the night remained overcast. We were hoping to catch some epic stargazing since this area is right in the heart of the Kerry Dark Sky Reserve, Europe's only gold-tier dark sky park. As with many things in Ireland, especially at this time of year, you're always chancing the weather. No bother though, back to the pub we went for some crack with the locals before retiring for the evening. Good morning everyone, it is day 2 of our girls' weekend road trip through County Kerry in Ireland. We spent the night in Waterville last night. Chicken slept like a baby all night. Yeah, we are headed over to Derrynane Beach and historic home. It is the ancestral home of Daniel O'Connell, who is kind of like the patriarch of Ireland. He's a famous guy. There's supposed to be some really beautiful gardens on the property and a really beautiful beach there as well. And then we're headed on to Killarney tonight. So that is the plan. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, our particular route for this road trip was a bit unusual as we were jockeying between weather and needed filming locations. So on day 2, we ended up backtracking from Waterville towards Killarney, stopping off at Derrynane House and Gardens. Derrynane House was actually not on my original site visit list, but was highly recommended by the locals in Waterville. What I thought would be a quick pit stop quickly became the highlight of my day, if not weekend. Secluded on a section of heavily wooded marshland below the Ring of Kerry road, Derrynane House and Gardens combines the historical, cultural, and archaeological significance of a national site with the horticultural and ecological status of a botanical garden and marine national park. Let's start with the home and grounds first, though. The home includes a museum which offers a glimpse into O'Connell's life as the Liberator. The expansive grounds will take up most of your time and attention, though, with an ancient stone fort, a whimsical Gothic folly, and extensive wooded trails which intersect with the Kerry Way, a through hike encircling the Iveragh Peninsula, which offers a fantastic way to experience this part of Kerry on foot. As you exit Derrynane House and follow the path towards the ocean, you climb a gentle grass embankment that suddenly opens up to stunning views overlooking massive sand dunes and a spectacular blue flag beach full of exposed rocks and tide pools.
We're here at the beach, or the strand, for Derrynane House. I have to say, without a doubt, this might be the best place on the Ring of Kerry. One of the best places in Ireland. Pictures, videos don't even do justice to how stunning it is. You're just absolutely dwarfed by the nature here.
This entire bay is part of the newly appointed Páirc Náisiúnta, which is Ireland's newest national park and only marine national park. It includes several marine areas around County Kerry and celebrates and preserves their biodiversity and ecological significance. At low tide, you can walk all the way out to the ruins of the 6th century abbey, where the cemetery was the final resting place of many residents of the nearby village of Carr-Daniel. When I felt my cheeks couldn't get any more flush with windburn, we departed Derrynane and headed on towards Killarney, stopping off in the village of Sneem for a late lunch at a delightful dog-friendly spot called the Bridge Bistro. After a few more stops at some scenic viewpoints, we finally arrived in Killarney Town at our accommodation for the next 2 nights, the Brook Lodge Hotel. Absolutely knackered after a long day of exploration, we retired for the evening in our spacious, dog-friendly suite.
It is day 3. We're in Killarney, just outside Killarney National Park. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning here. Got really cold last night, down freezing, so we were gonna get an earlier start, but we decided to wait until sunrise because it was just too cold and we didn't pack accordingly for that. But we're excited. We're gonna go climb Torc Mountain now.
The plan for the day was to hike Torc Mountain, part of Killarney National Park, Ireland's first national park. The great thing about Killarney National Park is how accessible it is. From Killarney Town, you can walk or cycle to Muckross Estate, which is on the edge of the park, so it acts like a bit of a gateway property. An attraction in its own right, Muckross features a historic home, extensive grounds, gardens, walking trails, a large lake, and an abbey, which dates back to the beginnings of Christianity in Ireland. Plus, there's free parking and public restrooms. With some early morning frosts still underfoot, we headed straight for the mountain. Passing through forested woodland and following the Owengarrif River into sweeping open valleys, we eventually began the ascent to Torc on raised boardwalk trails designed for hiking on mountain bogs. The base of the mountain also links up with the Kerry Way if you're looking to just do a day hike of that trail. Once we reached the top, we had 360-degree views of the surrounding Kerry Mountains. I'm convinced hiking is just about eating with a good view, so we then tucked into our quintessential Irish picnic lunch, a spicy chicken fillet roll with all the fixings from the finest petrol station deli in town. As I downed my sandwich, I kept thinking about how much I appreciate the relative ease and safety of hiking in Ireland after living in South Georgia. It's really nice not worrying about snakes, gators, and bears. After meandering the area's substantial trail system, we made our way back into town. We were just in time to catch the Six Nations rugby match of the day in one of the village's several dog-friendly pubs, where Chicken proceeded to fall fast asleep in my arms despite the raucous cheering every time Ireland scored a try. The perfect ending to a perfect weekend. Kerry has a reputation around Ireland for being a bit of a tourist trap, but the Irish also just love to give out. I suspect some of that banter is just frustration that the secret is out, because it is without a doubt one of the brightest and most striking of Ireland's crown jewels. But luckily, authentic interactions are still a staple in Kerry, and you can find quiet corners of this sprawling county if you know where to look and when to visit. For a turnkey but unforgettable escape to Ireland's wild Atlantic West, look no further. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out the description below for more helpful information, and stay tuned for more untraveled journeys. Happy travels!